Fear of extinction. Physiological. Definition. The fear of annihilation, of ceasing to exist. This is more than just a fear of death or how we might die. It strikes at the very heart of our fear that we will simply no longer be. Examples of triggers include the dark, flying, heights, fatal diseases. Dr. Eberstadt calls it existential anxiety and asks us to consider the panicky feeling we get if we look over the edge of a tall building.
狼牙山玻璃栈道。
一天就知道吃，别跟这肠道里面的任何东西慢慢来，看到没？再走一步，再走一步，对，OK， OK。大哥，这忒高啊！哎呦，走。
Fear of mutilation, body invasion. Safety. Definition. The fear of losing a part of our body, having our body's boundaries invaded, or of losing a natural function. This will be any fear where we feel physically unsafe or under attack. Examples of triggers include, in this part, we feel our anxieties about creepy crawlies like spiders or snakes, animals like dogs or sharks, and any animal you believe to be harmful. Also, anxiety about crowds, needles, germs, surgical procedures, or having to make a trip to the dentist. Laws of autonomy, self-actualization. Definition. The fear of being restricted, confined, trapped, suffocated. As Dr. Eberstadt puts it, the fear of being immobilized, paralyzed, restricted, enveloped, overwhelmed, entrapped, imprisoned, smothered, or otherwise controlled by circumstances beyond our control. When it's a physical fear, it's called claustrophobia. But our fear of being smothered, restricted, unable to take care of ourselves, or dependent on others can also apply to situations in our lives or our relationships. Examples of triggers include commitment, poverty, debilitating illness, aging. In addition, situations where we feel helpless or powerless. For example, at work, your boss tells you to do something you don't want to do and refuses to discuss it with you. You have to do it or lose your job. You feel trapped, helpless.
No.
Yes.
Hilarious. Meg!
Hey.
Why don't you take the stairs? You sure you wouldn't be more comfortable?
God, Harold, I may be claustrophobic, but I'm not walking 10 flights. Besides, my therapist says I really need to confront my fears and...
No, I have Wednesdays.
Allison?
Fine.
Get in there.
Meg,
Oh my gosh. Oh my god, everyone's so close. Everyone's so close. No, we're in a happy place. Where are we? In a happy place? Yeah, right. We're at the beach and we're surrounded by endless space. Oh yeah, and there's seagulls. Yes. Oh, what sound do seagulls make? Okay, that's right. Here, so you're gonna drink this water and you're gonna count backwards from 10. Can you do that like a big girl?
No.
Uh-huh.
I'll see you guys later. It's my floor.
All right, Meg, baby steps. Hang in there.
Fear of separation, abandonment, rejection, belonging. Definition. The fear of abandonment, rejection. We humans have a strong need to belong. Dr. Eberstadt refers to a loss of connectedness, of becoming a non-person, not wanted, respected, or valued by anyone else, which literally threatens self-well-being and survival. Fear of separation. Examples of triggers include when a relationship ends, a friendship, divorce, or death of a loved one. Sometimes when a relationship ends, we also lose an extended set of friends too, increasing that loss of connectedness. This type of fear can also be triggered when the relationship deepens, and with that an experience of vulnerability. What happens if this person I rely on leaves me? So a fear of intimacy, an argument or disagreement with someone important to us, at home or at work. Also, have you noticed that when someone ignores us or gives us a silent treatment, this often feels worse than being yelled at? Triggers can also be less obvious. Extended separation, even a voluntary one, can subconsciously trigger this type of fear.
Separation anxiety disorder commonly occurs in children and can start as early as 3 or 4 years old, the preschool age, and move on through adolescence and adulthood. Separation anxiety commonly is when a child becomes extremely upset to leave their caregiver or their figure of attachment. Children with separation anxiety disorder may become very tearful when left in a certain situation where they feel like they might be alone, and their tears may range from subtle crying all the way to extreme tantrums and avoidance of being left alone. Children have a great deal of difficulty being comforted when they feel anxious due to the separation. While separation anxiety can be handled through behavioral strategies and interventions, it's usually a systemic approach between teachers and parents or other adults in the child's life to help them feel comfortable and secure. Over time, children frequently become more comfortable in their situation and the separation anxiety symptoms do decrease. While there are many different features of separation anxiety disorder, this is a brief overview of some of the signs and symptoms.
Ego death, shamed, worthlessness. Definition: we all need to feel lovable, worthy of love and of value in the world in order to have healthy relationships with others and with ourselves. When we are shamed and humiliated, it can threaten or destroy our belief in our worth, our lovability, and our value in the world. Without that, we are nobody. Literally, the supposed number one fear of public speaking will fall into this category. Examples of triggers include failure, criticism, bullying, victimization, mistakes, public speaking. There are genuine shame triggers like when we are caught in a lie or doing something considered wrong by society. But feelings of shame and worthlessness are often triggered by expectations of judgment or criticism from ourselves or others when we mess up, losing one's job, or if we left our house unlocked and got burgled.
Please welcome Dr. Cassius Gagek.
What happens in your body while you experience fear? Imagine this: you went hiking in the woods, but now it has already turned dark. No one seems to be around. Suddenly you hear a noise. You freeze. Freezing is the first step of a sequence of fear responses directed by the sympathetic nervous system. It is associated with so-called hypervigilance, or attentiveness, and often occurs when the threat is not yet known. Then you realize what's going on. Your body is signaling you, fight or flee. Adrenaline and other hormones are released into your system, pulse and breathing frequency increase, your muscles tense up. Your pupils dilate, allowing for better long-distance vision. The next stage is called tachymobility, or fright. Your heart rate drops, and so does your blood pressure. You may experience feelings of dissociation and reduced sensitivity to pain. This reaction is driven by the parasympathetic nervous system. The last stage is unique to humans, fainting. It especially occurs in phobias of blood or needles, and is more common among women than among men. Freeze. Flight. Fight. Fright. Faint. Not everyone goes through all of these stages every time they are frightened, but all of these are evolutionary mechanisms to increase the chances of survival under threat.
Hi. Now the problem is, how can we deal with fear? Fear is something everyone faces. If you wish to overcome your fear, then here are some solutions for you. Number 1, understanding fear. Number 2, interacting with your fear. Number 3, facing your fears. Number 4, benefiting from your fears. Although everyone has fears, and it's completely normal. When you experience fear, physiological and emotional reactions occur, which includes racing heartbeat, sweating, anxiety, panic, etc. We all fear what we don't understand. It requires being willing to acknowledge that your fear is based on a lack of understanding. Some don't even realize this and proceed directly to attack. So what's the solution then? Here are some. Stop attacking that which you cannot control. Stop trying to control that which you judge as evil. Stop judging as evil that which you simply fear. Start trying to understand that which you fear. Next way of dealing with fear is interacting with fear, which can be done by acknowledging fear and imagining fear. Give your fear a name and then imagine a life without fear. Is it scary? Try to figure out everything that triggers your fear. The more you can understand your fear, the better. Imagine the outcome you desire. How do you feel? For example, if your fear is commitment, imagine yourself happily with a partner. If your fear is heights, imagine yourself conquering a tough height. If your fear is spiders, imagine yourself seeing a spider and feeling neutral. Third solution for overcoming fear is facing your fear. Start to expose yourself to the fear. We're afraid of something because we haven't been exposed to it very much. Next time you experience a fear, verbally engage the fear. Running from fears never improves the way you feel about a fear. Relaxation tells your body that there is no danger and that you are safe. Relaxation can also help you cope with other stress and anxiety in your life. The power to label your emotions is beneficial for self-understanding and emotional intelligence. It also appears that engaging with a fear and verbalizing your fear has incredible power to help you overcome fears and regulate emotions. Final strategy of overcoming fear is getting benefit out of fear. Try to reframe your fear in a positive light and acknowledge the thrill it can offer. When you start seeing fear as a source of energy, you might even embrace its role in your life. Fear can be used as a tool to help us identify problems and solve them effectively. It's a guidepost that warns us when something needs attention. So the question arises, is my fear normal? Everyone has fears. Some of them make perfect sense, some don't. But it isn't your fault. What matters is how you handle them. Fear triggers a fight or flight response, which readies our bodies to take action in order to protect ourselves.